This is the fourth part of my series on exfoliative cheilitis, and in this part I'm going to talk a little bit about things that bother me when I read online. The first thing I'm going to talk about is injury, lip injury as a cause of exfoliative cheilitis. I also have a forum called Ask White Shark, and you can actually ask some questions there if you would like me to answer them. But let's go back to the lips. There are a lot of people who believe that their lips are kind of they develop exfoliative cheilitis due to the fact that they have been biting their lips for many short or long time. And this might actually be true, but not in a way they think it's true. What they think or what they imagine is that exfoliative cheilitis is somehow injury that doesn't want to heal. Okay, I've been biting my lips, I've been biting the dead skin off my lips until they start bleeding, and I've been doing it repeatedly, and suddenly my lips wouldn't heal anymore and they would start continuously peeling, and the conclusion is, well, somehow lips forgot how to heal themselves, and that's how people develop exfoliative cheilitis. What really happened, or what most likely happened for many of those people, is that actually the moment you open sore on your lips, you actually allow anything from your environment to enter your bloodstream. And especially anything like your saliva, like food you eat, like toothpaste, like soap you use to shower, soap you use to wash your face, mouthwash you're using, Aquaphor or anything, any lip balm, anything you put on your lips, all those substances can enter your bloodstream, and unfortunate effect of that can be development of a new allergy. What we know today for sure, with large number of people suffering from eczema, is that eczema, that's a itch you can't scratch. People keep scratching their skin, but it doesn't necessarily help. So they keep scratching until they start bleeding. At that time they figure out, well, it's serious, it's time to put something on, so they start putting different things on, and sooner or later they actually develop an allergy to those things they're putting on, so their eczema gets worse and keeps spreading. So that's what we know about eczema. We know that there are people who have developed allergy to coconut oil simply by applying it to their skin. They develop allergy to oats for taking oat baths. They have developed allergy to anything they would put on their skin, even different kind of medications, different kind of moisturizers, yeah, different things. So it's important to understand that this is a pathway for developing allergies. It doesn't have to be necessarily allergy, it can be just an intolerance, mild form of allergy, but it's a pathway, important pathway. If we apply what we know about eczema, if we apply that to peeling lips, we actually get an explanation how people develop exfoliative cheilitis. First, for most people, for a huge majority of people with exfoliative cheilitis, it's chapped lips. Skin on their lips start dying, most likely due to some low-level inflammation, or even full-blown inflammation. Some people do report their lips being red or being swollen, but some people just develop dead skin, chapped lips. So lips looks chapped, skin looks dry on their lips. What do you do with it? You lick it and you try to bite it off. And some people are very careful when doing it, and others are not as careful. So others keep biting until they start bleeding. When you do it repeatedly for many days, weeks, months, or years, sooner or later you introduce to your blood a lot of different things. First, most common probably thing, if you brush your teeth twice a day at least, is your toothpaste. But then you also, if you drink milk, you might introduce milk to your blood, directly into your blood. You might introduce bread, wheat. You might introduce spices. Oh yes, spices love to be on your lips. You might introduce lip balms you're using. You might introduce mouthwash you're using. When you shower, soap from your hair goes straight on your lips. Body wash, face wash, cosmetics, whatever. Whatever your lips come into touch. If you kiss your dog, if you kiss your cat, many people do it. Again, there is a way how those tiny, microscopic dander of the cat or dog can enter directly into your bloodstream. And sure enough, that's a perfect way to develop an allergy to anything. It's very well known that people playing instruments that they blow with their mouth, they also develop sometimes exfoliative cheilitis. Here we have a constant contact with a piece of metal, and they can develop allergy to nickel, because often these parts can be made of nickel or whatever the instrument is made of. So, how did actually this idea that it's some kind of injury that doesn't want to heal started? Well, it started simultaneously by many people, They all look at it and they see it's their skin is raw, inflamed, looks like injury, and they think, well, if I could just not touch it and if I could just leave it there for a long enough time, probably I would be able to fix it. So that's what they try. And one of the people who actually influenced very many is Daniel Miller, who published several videos, huge number of videos actually, about his experience up until he got cured. So what happened actually, he made the conclusion that most likely reason for him curing was that he didn't touch his lips, and that somehow this method, which kind of don't do nothing to your lips, was created, and an idea that leave alone method, yeah, it's called leave alone, don't just leave your lips alone. The only thing you should do is keep them soft, moist, not let them really crack and bleed. So when he succeeded after several years of trying, it inspired a huge number of people, and a huge number of people tried it and failed. Now, he in reality probably doesn't know. He just assumed that him leaving his lips alone cured him. But leaving lips alone can cure you in many ways, or there are many other possibilities other than just that it was some kind of injury that didn't want to heal. Like, for example, people develop allergies spontaneously, and sometimes allergies spontaneously disappear. So the fact that he was leaving their lips alone, he didn't keep injuring them, their lips were not getting constantly in touch with the same things that may have been sensitized by or that may have created allergy, may have been enough to cure an allergy. It's very well known that if you eliminate, let's say from your diet, certain foods that are making you, that you're intolerant of, that are causing certain symptoms, it's known that those foods, that sometimes if you stay long enough away from them, once you reintroduce them, you're sometimes actually able to tolerate them for at least a certain amount of time, if not forever. Maybe not the same amount. So that's another explanation for Daniel how he could have actually achieved cure. So it either happened totally spontaneously by itself, or it happened simply because he actually was not doing anything with his lips, wasn't introducing the same thing that was causing the problem from the beginning, whatever that is, we don't know. We don't know really what could that be. Could be something to do with soap he was using, shampoo, toothpaste, whatever. If you just stay long enough away from a thing that was causing your problem, the inflammation subsides and lips get cured, they get healed. So that's one of the things I wanted to address very much, because there are so many people who try this method without actually thinking that there might be something more behind it. And that something more is actually possibility of an allergy. Because in reality, if your lips bleed and then you somehow manage to stop bleeding and they get healed to a point where you don't bleed anymore, that's in itself proof that you have a healing method that works. So making an assumption that this is some kind of injury that doesn't want to heal, in that case maybe your lips will be constantly bleeding or whatever, you know. So that theory sounds extremely strange, you know. Healing of an injury is a mechanism that existed long before humans. It existed before we were mammals. It existed in you know, in fishes, in worms, in extremely low level underdeveloped animals, which could have been our ancestors billions of years ago. And this healing mechanism is not something that you could probably easily switch off, though there are certain genetic disorders which might result in people, for example, constantly bleeding, unable to, you know, to stop bleeding or things like that. Yeah, that exists. But the fact that somehow only your lips doesn't want to heal and the rest of your body has a perfect healing abilities, that doesn't sound really scientific. Talk with any doctor about it and they'll say, I don't think so. And because they haven't seen it, you know. Doctors haven't seen a human body that doesn't want to heal. If they have seen it, you know, that usually have a good explanation. Like, for example, you get a snake bite or a spider bite, and enzymes that are injected into your skin or into your tissue simply keep on eating and eating and eating and eating on your tissue, and sure enough, that kind of injury might take forever to heal, but that has a, you know, good explanation. A lips which doesn't want to heal, well, that's kind of strange. Okay, so that's one of the things I wanted to address in this video. And then in my forum there's a person who asked a question about Accutane. Okay, his name is John, and he said, I don't think it's an allergy, because I guess while I was taking Accutane I peeled off the dead skin and caused a trauma. Now my body doesn't know how to rebuild healthy skin on my lips, and unfortunately that's something that I personally feel is not curable, since no one got cured who just damaged the skin over time. I did a gluten-free diet. I don't eat sugar in general, and I did a 3-day water fast back in the days without any changes. I also changed my toothpaste, etc. So I already tried a lot of stuff that you recommend, they didn't work. So here we have a person which is not unique. Accutane is a drug which is actually a synthetic form of vitamin A, but slightly different, just similar to vitamin A and not exactly the same. Now, if you would take vitamin A in the same dose, you might actually achieve the same results. The problem is vitamin A is a natural thing, so you can't patent it. So Roche, or whatever is the the company that created this drug, they simply created a special synthetic, slightly changed the form of vitamin A, patented it, and found out it works fantastic wonder on people with the acne. So they start prescribing it. They tested it. A lot of side effects in the dose, which actually does have an effect on acne. And one of the side effects of Accutane is dry, chapped, and peeling lips. If you would take probably a larger amount, probably your whole skin will start peeling, because that's a known side effect of poisoning with vitamin A. Vitamin A is found in animal liver, and some animals like polar bears and some whales have huge amount of it, and some polar explorers have been tempted to actually eat liver from those animals and ended up with the whole skin of their body peeling off. So vitamin A overdose is very well known thing. Accutane, it's becoming quite well known also. A lot of other problems with Accutane, like depression, suicides, and things like that. But let's now talk about why doesn't it stop when people stop taking Accutane. Most people who experience this lip problem with Accutane, once they stop the drug and the drug is out of their system within like 30 days, they generally, their lips stop peeling. Small percentage of them end up with Accutane, ends up with peeling lips, and they make a connection. Yeah, well, it's probably connected somehow to Accutane. Now, I already told you that peeling lips are most likely an allergy to something, and it can even be a connection to a much wider process happening in your intestines, and possibly an allergic reaction to maybe byproducts of some bacteria or some yeast or some fungus living in your intestines. But how do people come to the point where the Accutane is actually prescribed for them? Now that's something where the story gets special. Like many people as teenagers experience acne. They might come and they might disappear. Some get it much worse than the others, and those are most likely to go to dermatologists and start getting different treatments. The first treatment they get is never Accutane, or at least not today. Might have been 30 years ago, or who knows where the first time the drug was introduced. But today, the first treatment is not an Accutane. The first treatment is often different kind of creams and whatever they can put on their face, until that stops working and they start taking some internal antibiotics often. So even before that has happened, even before that person has taken those antibiotics for acne, there is already a damage to the intestines, to the liver, and most likely there is already a form of intolerance. How do we know it? Well, we know it because there are so many of them who actually at that moment do the right thing. They figure out what they are allergic to or intolerant of, be it cat, be it food, be it whatever, soap, cosmetics, and they somehow solve the problem. It can be also a much deeper problem. Once you mess up your liver is extremely important organs for regulating levels of hormones in your body. And when you're a teenager, there is a storm of hormones going on through your body. Your sexual organs, your brain, a lot of different parts of endocrine system start producing hormones, and some people don't have it totally in control. There are a lot of problems that the girls might encounter, and that's that's how if the liver is unable to process all the excess hormones and eliminate it through the bile, those hormones keep circulating in your blood, causing problems. So how does liver gets damaged? How does intestines get damaged to that point? Well, we have already spoken about that. It might have started with your grandma or grandpa. Your grandma. Now, if you have a very, very bad case of acne to the point where you have been prescribed Accutane, then there is a high possibility that your parents, one of them, or your grandparents, one or both of them, have had direct contact with gonorrhea. Yes, it's a sexually transmitted disease that has been spread around through prostitution, promiscuity, yeah, of all forms. So, if you have bad case of acne, you might want to talk with your papa or your mom about when they are alone, not when they are both present, and ask them if any one of them might have had gonorrhea. Or if your grandparents are alive, same questions, again when they're alone, if you want to get the honest answer. The thing is that people sometimes do things they are not proud of and they don't want to talk about it with their spouse. And one of those things often is catching a sexually transmitted disease, which is then treated with strong penicillin. Now, gonorrhea is often treated with an injection of penicillin straight into the penis, which is a very painful treatment. So, not many people like to talk about it, especially not those who experienced it. I've spoken with a person who have experienced it 3 times, so yeah. Some people like to talk about it, some people not. So, when grandparents or parents have some sexually transmitted disease that needs a heavy antibiotic treatment, it can be also chlamydia, not only gonorrhea. What we see in their offspring is extreme case of acne. Now there is imagine you are in a city and you have access to medical records of 3 generations of people. And you make a statistics of what the grandparents were treated for, what parents were treated for, and what kids were treated for. And that's exactly what the doctor did. And that's how he discovered a connection. He discovered a connection between gonorrhea and other sexually transmitted diseases and antibiotics and acne in the next generation. But not only acne in the next generation, but when those people in next generation they take again antibiotics, then it even gets worse. So up to a moment until you developed such a bad case of acne that your dermatologist prescribed Accutane or whatever generic form of it, today there are many, up to that point your body has already been damaged, your liver has all been damaged, your intestine has been damaged on a low level. We are talking about level which cannot be detected easily by normal blood tests. Imagine your liver health is represented with a number from 0 to 1000. So if you lose, let's say, 100 or 10% of the total value of your health, where 1000 means perfect liver, and let's say you're at 900 with your liver is not working at 100%. It works at 90% of its ability, but that is undetectable by most of the blood tests taken today. But still, your liver is not working perfect. How do we know it? Well, look at your face. If you have any, or your skin in general, if you have any skin disorder, that's a quite strong sign that your liver is not functioning the way it should. So, that's the story about acne, the beginning of it. So even before you were put on Accutane, you already most likely have been intolerant of something or allergic to something, because that's what acne is. It's your body giving you red light and telling you what you are doing is wrong. Whether that was kissing a cat, kissing a dog, uh, putting different things on your face that you are intolerant of, consuming sugar, consuming milk, consuming wheat, consuming soy, consuming different nuts, shrimps, eggs. These are the most common allergens, but actually it can be anything. So up to that point where you actually were put on Accutane, you most likely were allergic to something and you were constantly getting in touch with that something. That's why your acne will keep popping up. Sugar is high up on the list of teenagers, and there are a lot of other industrial products that are equally high. Poor quality oils, heated oils, don't help acne at all, you know. Milk products, many people react to it. Not everyone, many. And so on. So, up to a point, you know, the person has been put on Accutane, he's already having intolerances, possible allergies, he's put on Accutane, he's developed peeling lips, he starts biting it, maybe even he got bleeding, he develops new allergies, he discontinues Accutane, and then boof, peeling lips, exfoliative cheilitis starts. His conclusion is, this is something new created by Accutane. Well, it is and it's not. It's created by peeling lips create peeling lips, you know. Cracked lips create new allergies, new allergies, new allergies, new allergies. I keep repeating that. So, that's what happened actually. You most likely developed a new allergy to something else. That something else can be anything that was around you. Toothpastes are high up. They are very often coming in touch with your lips. Food you eat every day is high up. Anything you put on your lips is high up. So, he writes, I did gluten-free diet. I don't eat sugar. It didn't help him. Now, when I use gluten, I use it as an example of a very common trigger. I doubt that gluten is even triggered in more than 30% of people. So, if eliminating gluten doesn't help you, you should know that you belong to a majority who is not going to be helped by eliminating gluten, you know, because maybe it only works for 30% of people, or 32%, or 33%. We don't know. What we know is that is the most commonly reported thing. When people report that they have cured their peeling lips, well, it was gluten. I eliminated gluten, it helped me. But number of people who report it is still so small that we can only conclude that this is not something that happens to everybody. So, if you eliminated gluten, didn't work for you, dear John, sorry. It's one of the possibilities. You eliminated sugar, didn't help you, one of the possibilities. Water fast. Now this is a biggie. Could water fast cure peeling lips? The answer is yes. Could 3 days of water fasting make any change? Possibly no, for somebody who's been ignoring problems for too many years. Let me explain that. It's been said that a person who takes medicine must recover twice. Once for the disease and once for the medicine he's taking. This is wrong. Person who takes medicine must recover 3 times. He must recover for the fact that he neglected the cause of this disease and was taking the medicine. That was the first problem. The problem was he also neglected the fact that most modern medicines are just made to treat symptoms and not the real cause. And then they have side effects which you have to also get cured from. So, if you were a teenager when you develop your acne, and instead of fixing the problem then and the fixing the problem then and would means actually trying to do best you can to heal your liver, heal your intestines, heal your diet, eliminate your triggers, whatever your triggers for acne are, because they are exactly the same and work exactly on the same way as the triggers for exfoliative cheilitis. So if that didn't happen there, it means you have been ignoring the real problem, and then instead of that you're probably using antibiotics which cause more allergies. So you were actually adding to the problem, not to the solution, for years, and then you were put on Accutane, which again is adding to the problem and not to the solution, because it treats symptoms and not the cause of acne. So, and that's the kind of the same pattern we see in almost all people who are put on Accutane. You know, they go through the same path. They try this, they try that, they try hormones, they try antibiotics, they try this, and then nothing works. Okay, I'm going to take that big leap and I'm going to take Accutane. But what you haven't really tried is curing your liver, healing your liver, healing your internal organs, healing your digestion. And that's the problem. So now you have to recover 3 times more than if you started when you got your first acne. When you got your first acne, you had a chance to change your diet, maybe change something in your environment, and maybe quit and solve the problem of acne. Or maybe start healing your liver, you know. Start taking some herbs that heal your liver, that heal your intestines. You know, slippery elm, it's fantastic herbs that heals intestines. Burdock root heals intestines. Cholagogue herbs, it's bitter herbs that are known to stimulate liver, stimulate bile productions, heal the liver. Not in excess taken, but taken in the right dose. So there are ways to treat your liver, there are ways to change your diet. Proper diet heals the liver, you know. Juice fasting heals liver. Get a juicer, press veggies, press fruit, drink juices, try living a few days on juices. It's such a holiday for your liver. And not to mention drinking olive oil every day. You know, take a few tablespoons of olive oil every day. Your liver will say thanks to you. And there are many other ways. But anyway, so let's go back to the water fasting. Why 3 days of water fasting didn't work? For the same reason I just explained. You have to recover 3 times. So 3 days is not enough. 10 days is not enough. If you wanna fix a problem with water fasting, you have to have some stamina and go for at least 14 days, if not longer. During that time, you most likely have to take water enema and get out of your system anything you have inside, because these 3 days you might have kept inside of your intestines feces from the food you ate before you started water fasting, and that feces could have kept, you know, giving the signal to you that you are still exposed to the whatever you are allergic or intolerant of. Another possibility is that during that time you were water fasting, you were still using the toothpaste or the soap or the same water. You know, water can be a trigger for some people. We drink different waters. Different cities have different waters, different water quality, different tubing. Tubing in your house might be made of copper, might be made of plastics. You might be intolerant to these materials for whatever reason, allergic to it. So there are so many other possibilities, you know, soap, shampoo you're using. Did you change it really during the time you were fasting? You have to think as a detective. You have to assume that anything in your environment could be triggering your problem. It can be wall paint, people. It can be building materials of your house. It's highly unlikely, highly uncommon, but there are people who react to building materials of their house. It can be, I can tell you, a very common trigger of eczema is laundry detergent. Yeah. And it gets everywhere. You know, people, if your clothes smell laundry detergent, it means that there are molecules of laundry detergent on your clothes, and those molecules are in your house, because everything you wash That means your bed sheets, your clothes, your towels, everything you're washing in your house with your laundry detergent is loaded with molecules of the laundry detergent. Huge number of kids today with eczema are intolerant of laundry detergent, and it's often in the beginning it was last on the list. Today it's becoming first thing on the list for people to try. Get rid of laundry detergent, buy some borax. It's something that can be purchased in the United States almost in any store. It's a replacement for a laundry detergent. It doesn't make a foam. It's a natural mineral. It's antifungal, antibacterial. It simply dissolves fat, but it doesn't make foam. You can wash your hair with it. You can even brush your mouth and your teeth, wash your teeth with it. You can even wash your skin with it. You can take a bath in borax. Don't take it too concentrated, just like sea salt. It can irritate your skin if it's highly concentrated. It's generally sodium salt of boric acid. So it's just like salt, The kitchen salt is just the sodium salt of hydrochloric acid. This is sodium salt of boric acid. Similar things, we can tolerate them in a similar amount of exposure. So that's the story about Accutane, and I'm gonna take a little break, take some drink, but I think this video number 4 can end.